Hi, my name is Nolen and I'm the founder and CEO of Apex Motorsports. Due to technical difficulties, I was not able to do the screen recorder, and so I have linked a PDF file in the comment section below to my presentation so you can follow along. Essentially, when we buy a car, we all face the same problem. We need to make buying a car a more luxurious, memorable experience. And this is a multi-billion-dollar problem across our nation and even in our own backyard. Our solutions developed a dealership that offers a VIP experience for enthusiasts and classic car, luxurious car owners alike. To execute on this solution, put together a team of passionate automotive industry moguls. So far, we have developed a proper selection for our inventory, ranging from Italian to German, to pretty much everything that you can think of that's in the luxury category, classic car category that's worth a pretty penny. The customer who would need to purchase someone who's not just looking for your average car, is a person of taste and with an enthusiast background, only wanting the best that the history in automotive has to offer. This customer wants the best of everything, and we plan to give a personalized, luxurious experience to that. We are going to solve this solution and fund it by selling cars and building relationships. I believe that one of the main things we got to think about is that a car buying experience, especially of this category, shouldn't just be, a salesman to a consumer. It should be building a relationship, and then along the way we sell a car. Today, our business is looking to raise $500,000. We will use this money to build our inventory, develop a professional website, marketing platform, and to keep the lights on in our temporary warehouse. We think that within 3 years, we will be able to triple our initial investment. So to start the presentation, if you have it pulled up, Apex Motorsports, like I said, I'm founder and CEO. As we go to the next slide, the problem that I noticed with this, I've gone to a lot of dealerships, and they all have the same problem where it's hard to really find the right one. They never have it in inventory. I find that a lot of cases with a lot of friends of mine, they get overcharged. They have things called like lot fees or processing fees. At my dealership, we would never do something like that. The legitimacy. So especially when you're looking in the classic car category, it's very hard to find, for example, a 1988 BMW M3 Evolution 2. Beautiful car. Only a handful were made. And the problem with it is that we have a lot of people who take the regular M3s of that generation and then make them an Evolution 2 and then upcharge it. And without having to know the proper backgrounds and stuff like that, you can really get messed up on a deal. So at my dealership, what we would do is we would have documentation. We would have a BMW representative in this situation to back up that problem. Intimidating transactions. So this goes back to my first original point in my pitch, where there's always that problem of people feeling like they're forced to buy something. Well, that's not going to happen in our case. We're going to give consumers a more relaxing experience, and I'll explain more to those solutions as into the next slide. Low quality showrooms. That's a problem I've always had personally. You walk into a showroom, you're about to spend a big dollar on an automobile, and you find out that the showroom is just not up to date. It has a lot of issues with it, cleanliness and etc. So we would change that. And non-transparent deals. So this goes to another point I was talking about how we have these little fees or something like that. Well, that's just not going to happen. I want everything to be upfront and personal, as if you would to be talking to your best friend. You want to tell them everything that's the truth, or her looking to purchase this automobile. Moving on to the next slide, how we at Apex Motorsports will solve the problem. As I said in my pitch, we have a passionate team working together with years of enthusiast backgrounds. And we're not doing this to make a profit, obviously, but let me retract that. Obviously, we are to make money in this business, as business in general. But we don't go into this thinking that we got to make $1. We go into this thinking that we got to make a relationship. And when we build off that relationship, it leads to more connections, more purchases in the future. We look at long term, not just the short term purchase. As I said, relationships first. As I've stated a lot, that the relationships is what Apex Motors really it really builds off of. Now, white glove service is something that I've always really wanted to launch, and especially in a dealership. I always have this problem. Let's say, for example, I buy a car. Everyone wants you to come in and they say, oh, we have to sign paperwork, Well, why don't you just fax it to me? Oh, we don't really do that. And I said, well, white glove service essentially is that we can do everything over the phone if that's what you would like. And then we will personally drop off the car to wherever you are in the country and then give the keys at the front door. And then we'll bring the paperwork along with there. So you never have to lay a finger or step a foot in the door if you don't want to. And if you do, we will treat you as a VIP. So I'll ask you, oh, would you want some water? Do you want something to drink? Would you like something to eat? Treat you as you would like to be treated. Improved dealership environment. Later in the slides, we have a rough draft of what we would like the dealership to look like. And essentially, we'd like a modern industrial feel to where we can get both modern luxury cars, but also we get classics as well. And I think that would really enhance corporate morale to have a really great environment. Everyone gets an office. It's not like, oh, we have the sales team on the floor. It's one big room, and it will be a great experience for everyone. The best the market has to offer. As I said, we have a really amazing team of men and women who are in the enthusiast category where we will find the best that we can. We have connections overseas to find, in Italy and Germany to give us the cars that we would need. Moving on to the next slide is our business model. Now, essentially, we have key partners involved in this. Is Kevin Jacobs. He's the dealer owner for Bill Jacobs, BMW, and is one of our angel investors in Apex Motorsports. He's a really great personal friend of mine, and we've worked in the past, and he's just someone who's really passionate about automotive and would like this to be a fun project of his. Kyle Chandler, he would be my executive partner, personal friend of mine, and sales manager for all dealership operations. So anything that goes through selling the cars would go through Kyle, and he's a great personality, great fun guy. And Dylan DeMacco, he's the co-owner with me and the CFO. He's kind of like the brains of the operation. I'm more the creative side. So it's been, it's a great team of people that we have, the key partners, and then we have some other members as well. Key activities, essentially it's the sales of inventory and acquisition. And what acquisition exactly means, if let's say, for example, a customer comes in and they say, oh, I want a 1956 Ferrari 250 GTO in yellow with brown interior. And well, obviously we'd probably not have that in our inventory at the time because it's such a specific and very rare car. As our firm, we would go out and through our connections, find that car for that client to keep it within our doors. And if they want something specific, if they want something done to it, we will have other connections as well to get that car done. Key resources, cars and revenue. It's a car dealership. We sell cars and that's how we make money. And then acquisition as well. Value proposition. Like I've stated before, we will offer an exclusive VIP experience with the ease of purchase process and offering only the examples the market has to offer in the classic car category. Customer relationships is being first is being first of everything. And with our clients, we build relationships before we sell, because without having a relationship, how are we going to get a sale? Customer segments. We're looking at more of an income. Like I said, this is a luxurious dealership. So we'll be looking at an income of an average of $75,000 and up. Particularly as what our demographics has shown is probably male. And the automotive enthusiast in the West Coast demographic is as we would like to, the West Coast geographic, if you will. Our dealership location would be located in Newport, California, because we believe that that's a very big hub for the automotive industry, especially in this kind of clientele. Our margins, we would like to try to at least obtain a 20% profit commission on every sale that would be distributed evenly throughout the dealership. So, that 20% would go to the lights, would go to the sales team, would go to the catering, would go to events that we do promotional marketing, so on and so forth. We will buy below the market value because we have great connections through auction houses and other used cars across the country and overseas as well. And then sell top dollar in the market. So if we see a car that we can get for a great deal, and then we look at our market index, we will buy that car low and offer an incentive to the partnering dealership that we're working with, and then sell to an agreeable price to our client. And if we're not able to find a sale within the 30-day period that we believe that is what is needed to happen, we put it on the auction block. So we will have partnerships with Meekum, Gooding and Company, great auction blocks, and really great firms as well. Revenue streams. As I said earlier, our main source of revenue is through the sales of our cars in inventory. We're a car dealership. We sell cars. Acquisition. And I talked a little bit about it, but essentially what we would charge is for every $100,000 the car is worth on the block, we would be charging $1,000. So the car's worth $200,000, $2,000, so on and so forth. And like I said, these are some of the main things that will generate revenue for us, and we think that would be a great part of our dealership to generate revenue. Channels. So our marketing and advertising will be using various social media platforms, in print, automotive magazines, and video content. And those specific platforms we'd be using in the social media category would be Instagram, Drive Tribe, which is an up-and-coming social media platform specifically for automotive enthusiasts that is run by the Top Gear crew. So James May, Jeremy Clarkson, those guys are the ones who are the CEO, and Jeremy Clarkson's the CEO. The other founders of the other team run the program. So it's a very up and coming platform for the automotive enthusiast. Facebook, obviously, I feel like that's a go-to. YouTube, as I said, we do video content. Car Throttle would be a magazine and also a video content platform. And Edmunds is a great website because we can also sell our cars through there as well, but they have a great print magazine where a lot of clients that buy classic cars and the older demographic use as a resource. Moving on to the next slide. The go-to market plan, I talked a little bit about in my business model. Essentially, we'd be using social media, high quality video productions, auction partners, and I listed some like Meekum and Gooding and Company, building brand awareness. So I think that will happen with our social media and especially with our video content. That's where a lot of our funding will go to, because nothing that enthusiasts love more than looking online and watching a video of just the exhaust going build 30-second videos. But the fact that we're able to take that next step gives the client a video basis, not just some pictures, but able to see and see a review of what the car is. Print and magazine, as I said earlier, a lot of our older demographic who's buying these higher price tag cars are still using print, is what our studies have shown. So we'd like to use those as well. And develop the blog and vlog platforms. Like I said, brand awareness. And I think that having that kind of connection, that constant feed of like, oh, we just were at this event. The brand new Ford GT looked beautiful, hashtag Ford Motorsports, would be something to kind of really keep and connect with clients and actually in a larger basis, which will branch out our brand awareness. Moving on to the next slide, competitive analysis. I think that some of the main parts that set us apart. There's some big dealerships that really align with what we're trying to do. Freeman Motors in Portland, Oregon is a very large firm that does what we're trying to do. And I believe that there are some loopholes with it. I think that sometimes they don't treat everyone as that they would like to be treated. I think that they really take a time to sell the car and then build the relationship. Well, we'd like to flip that. They also don't have my white glove service, delivering the car to you, to your front doorstep. If you have a problem with your car, we'll send a team member out to pick up your car. We'll give you a different car at the time that's equitable to what you've purchased. And And so you don't have to come into our dealership to service it. And we have a team of really great mechanics that specialize in this. Now, the non-intimidating environment goes back to a point that I made earlier about how we don't want people to feel like they're forced to buy something. We just want to be your friends, and then we'd like to make a purchase along the way. And if we don't make it that day, totally fine. But what that tells us is that you'll tell your friends like, oh, we were just at Apex Motorsports. Great inventory, great sales staff, really great environment. You should go check it out. And so you get that word to mouth, which is a very kind of essential tactic through the automotive industry, because it seems that enthusiasts, different groups like Corvette guys, Porsche owners are very cliquey with one another, and the word travels very fast. The VIP experience, I believe that everyone should be treated as if they were a VIP, because the fact that you're going into our dealership makes us feel like you are. So moving on to the next slide. Our management team, these are essentially the qualifications that are required for you to work with Apex Motorsports. You got to have passion. You got to be an automotive enthusiast. What I've seen, and I've worked in dealerships before, is a lot of people are there just to make the dollar. And it doesn't go with our platform of building relationships or having a non-intimidating environment. We don't have to make a sale with you today, but we'd like you to really consider now with this newfound friendship. So, and like I said, the automotive enthusiast, we want people to feel as if we know what we're talking about, which we are. And if we don't have that enthusiast background, then it'll be really hard to join our team. That drive, we really love drive in our team, and physically love driving, but also mentally, you gotta really work for it. It's a tough industry, and without that, it'll be, as I said, it's very tough to branch out. Strong work ethic. It does require a lot of hours. It does require a lot of patience. So without that strong work ethic, it just becomes to a point where you feel like you're struggling. And compassionate. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Compassion is something that we require with building relationships. If someone says, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it. And I says, okay, well, let me talk to my sales manager. Let's see what we can figure something out. To understand, we don't have to push you to do something. We want you to be here because you want to be here, not because you feel like you're being worn out by us. Outgoing. So mainly, that's for our sales team. Everyone should talk to everybody. Never judge a book by its cover. If someone walks in with cargos and sandals and a bummy T-shirt, it could be worth multi-millions of dollars. And we'd like to treat everyone as such. Now, moving on to the next slide, we have our projections here, and mainly what we notice is that it's what we've tested is that with our sales and our time that we're going to be flipping these cars, it looks like our profits would be increasing per first day of each month for the next 3 years. And as I said, as you look at the graph, it's pretty exponential. And mainly this is because we as a dealership have a different business model than others that we would like to see and put into effect. And if it was put into effect, this is the result that we would have. Now, moving on to the next slide, and our final slide is our timeline. So key milestones, market validation, our 3-year plan. Our key milestones is mainly an inventory of 20 cars. That's one of our bigger milestones, is that we'd have we're going to start off with 3 to 4 cars, sell 2, buy 1, sell 2, buy 3, going from there. But we'd like to get to a point where we have a full-on inventory of 20 cars. Market validation. We've done focus groups. We've noticed that a lot of people really like the responses, especially of our white glove service platform. A lot of people would like to see that in effect, and I think that Apex Motorsports can really give that out. Our 3-year plan, inventory size, I think at the end of 3 years, we'd like to look at 100 cars. That's a really big milestone for us in our end of 3 years. Official location, as I said earlier in my pitch, we have a warehouse that we're having right now to mainly generate revenue while keeping the overhead costs low. And once we get more revenue, we'll be able to move down to our official location and start building up shop. Our client basis, we as a dealership, we love people, and so we'd like to in the next 3 years build up to a a complete deck of clients. And I think that would be great. And I think that in our 3-year plan, that really aligns with it. Automotive community recognition. This goes back to our brand awareness. Once we have our vlogs, our blog platforms, we actually be able to build a brand itself of not just selling cars, but being automotive enthusiasts and talking about the cars that we have and giving us national recognition. And that's pretty much my presentation. If you have any questions, you can call or email me at the contacts listed above. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope to be hearing from you soon. Thank you.